Good Thursday afternoon. Welcome back to the LTL podcast. It's October 5th, 2023, and we're here on this lovely Thursday afternoon here in the Northeast. It is hot. It is hot in my room right now. I'm telling you, this heat just won't quit. It's very muggy today, very sunny. As you can see, I got a lot of light pollution behind me here in the window, so I had to put up the table. What do they call that? Picnic. It's like I don't know. They're fleece blankets. I threw them up to kill some of the light pollution. The picnic blankets. But yeah, really hot here. I thought I'd jump in for a little bit. Had some time on my day off to do a afternoon live stream. So we have a 2-for-1 combo meal deal today. We'll do this one here and then back tonight at our regular show at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Got a little of Anthony Farah Timepiece Gentleman update. I know I haven't done one in a while. There just really hasn't been any news out there. And the last video I dropped, I think, on this was about a week ago, getting some insight that allegedly, some allegations out there that the FBI is now in the forefront of this investigation. I also heard from a trusted source here through one of the YouTube channels that I heard out there. We email back and forth every once in a while. And this person gave me some insight that there was an LA Times article that was about to drop. Well, it did. It did drop about 3 days ago. I believe, what was that? 3 days ago would be what? Tuesday to Monday. It dropped on Monday. I have the article. We can pull it up and read through it. And I also saw, too, that the Daily Mail has now started to report on this as well. And I knew once the mainstream media picked this up and it starts getting out there worldwide, this was going to start gaining some attention. So we'll go through the LA Times article. We'll go through the Daily Mail article. The LA Times article is very interesting. I scanned it through it this morning. I'm going to have to do a lot of reading here, so you're going to have to deal with me. It's not in video form, but we'll go through that. So a couple of things is when I first started to, after Anthony came on JJ's panel, almost 2 months ago now, and we had two of the individuals, Bob and Wesley, that were reporting that they had been allegedly scammed by Anthony, and they started to come out and talk publicly. I had a lot of people that were reaching out to me via email saying, hey, how can we get in touch with these guys? We've been caught up in this as well. And I was trying to give them good, relevant information, point them in the right direction. And then I would have a lot of people that would just reach out to me and say, hey, I was caught up in this as well. And I would always ask them, just come on the panel, come on the panel and tell us your story. And then I would just hear nothing. So it's like, you have to kind of think, is this true? Or is, some of the stuff that people are saying just BS to email and say a bunch of stuff. I wanted proof. I wanted receipts if people were going to come on the panel. I don't want to put someone up here that, is just saying oh, I was caught up in this and doesn't have anything to show, because we want to see it and we want to see, expose this, put out, the alleged scam that's out there. And I mean, Anthony actually self-admitted back in his videos a couple months ago that he is now indeed $5 million in debt. And he used customers' money to do, to get there and do that and live the lifestyle, this fake, fake flex lifestyle. And so anyway, what I started doing was I started just kind of scrubbing all his social media stuff. I found this to be interesting. As the heat's been now turned up, if you go to his Facebook page, if you go to his YouTube page, you can see all his videos have been scrubbed. His community page, stuff is still there. And I find this kind of funny. 2 months ago, stay tuned, date and time to be announced this weekend. Guess what? YouTube videos are coming back next week. After a much needed break, it's time to make a return. Yeah, it's always time to make a return in Anthony Farah's life. And just, if you have any interest, you can go over here and check out all his communication on his community tab. But he did remove all his videos. He did remove all his lives. He still has a YouTube presence. I've also heard that he actually still checks out YouTube videos that are about him and leaves comments on them as well, too. Of course, I am live, so it's that time my allergies just start running. I love it. Lovely, lovely, lovely. But if you want to go over and check out, for yourself, his YouTube page is still up, but he has pulled all his videos. And I find that interesting. you know, knowing now that there's LA Times stories out there, knowing that maybe some of this heat is being turned up on him, you know, it's basically worldwide now. Once that hits LA Times, everybody from around the world can read that. So, anyway, so moving along, you know, I started going out and looking. He still does have his social media presence. His at Anthony Instagram account is still up. I haven't seen any new posts. I think his last post was from like 2 months ago. He was posting some stuff on his stories for a little while, trying to sell some watches and some like what we call like tchotchke stuff, you know, leather bands. I think he had some watch rolls, leather watch rolls that he was trying to sell, you know, just trying to generate probably some income for himself. And then I scrubbed around. I found some other backup accounts that he had. He had this stupid fitness one that he was doing. And this is actually funny. We played this the other night on JJ's stream. You can actually see right here down in the lower quadrant, his ankle bracelet from when he was on probation. So he's out here making videos with an ankle bracelet on. And it seems pretty funny. It's just funny stuff. You know, he's just always looking to be like in the spotlight and do things. And I'm not going to play through all this garbage, but yeah, Mr. Fitness King. You know, that's the thing I always said about him is that, you know, and this was a backup account that he has too here on Instagram. So he's got a couple accounts. They're still out there. They're not active. His website is still up as well too. And I found that interesting. He still has his Timepiece Gentleman website up there as well too. But we'll get into the LA Times article in a second. I'd be curious, you know, I wonder if anybody has like actually tried to order nope, currently not available. I wonder if timepieces are up. Yeah, you can still purchase a timepiece. Let's see. Buy now. Find a watch secure. Yeah, it basically just leaves you would leave your information, and he's basically saying, you know, it would take 24 to 48 hours to get back to him. So again, I found that interesting. Let me go up here in the chat real quick and just take a look. Let me check in with everybody. So we'll move on to the LA Times article. I have the Daily Mail article up as well. OC in the house. Carrie's in the house. Good to see you. Danielle's here. Candy's here. Thank you. Happy Thursday to you as well. Mary's in here. Little's in here. Cindy's in here. SJ Howard's in here. Excuse me. TLC is here. Let's see. I'm literally sweating right now. It's so hot in my room. The sun is literally right behind me right now, beating on the room. Danielle in here. Let's see, who else do we got? Dragonfly says, this is the first year I have had allergies and it's very annoying. Yes, it sucks. Kelly's in the house. Good to see you, Kelly. Panorama's here. LA Times store is interesting read. Hope things start going downhill from here. It's just going to take time. That's the problem. And I just don't know why everybody is like so afraid to come forward. You know, come forward. Get it out there. This guy needs to be stopped. Guy definitely needs to be stopped. Just Debbie checking in. Good to see you as well. Lee is over here as well. Good to see you. All right, we'll move on here. I'm going to pull up the Daily Mail article. I got a lot to read through. We'll kind of skim through this one because I want to get more to the LA Times article because a lot of this was just like kind of rinse and repeat. God, man, there is so many pop-ups on all these sites. It's just overwhelming. A lot of this is already what we know, and I'm probably thinking that Daily Mail might have scooped some of the story off the LA Times, probably quoting it as well. So a luxury Beverly Hills watch seller, the Timepiece Gentleman, admits he's in a $5 million hole after selling off customers' watches to fund his extravagant lifestyle. Watch seller Anthony Farah, 38, revealed he's been living a facade and living beyond his means. At least 8 customers accused him of selling their watches and pocketing the cash, admitted to using at least one investor's cash to fraud lavish lifestyle. So this is nothing really new. This is really more of a review that we know about, you know, what he talked about in his video. I'll read through a little bit of this, but I want to get more to that LA Times article because that's more opening and revealing in there. So it says a luxury Beverly Hills watch dealer has revealed he's in millions of dollars in debt after selling off his customers' watches and using the cash to fund his high-end lifestyle. What I want to do here is I want to actually make a poll. I'm going to put this up here. All right, so I'm going to ask the question, do you think Anthony has any money that he's put aside? Or do you think he truly is $5 million in debt? And I'll do this. Listen, if Anthony's watching and he wants to jump on and tell us his side of the story, I'll drop the StreamYarn link for him. You can jump in and let us know, tell us, what does he think? Is he working out a plan to pay these customers back? Where has he been? Where are you? Let us know where you are. So the link is dropped there if Anthony wants to jump on, if he wants to tell his side of the story. Okay, so it says Anthony Farah is known as the Timepiece Gentleman, admitted to operating a Ponzi scheme, which left him in a $5 million hole. The 38-year-old is currently being sued after several citizens claim they gave him watches worth up to $100,000 each and were sold without seeing a penny. Now, in a confessional video posted on TikTok, Farah, 38, who once leased a $100,000 penthouse in LA, revealed he has been spending people's money living above my means. He added, I've been digging myself out of this hole, and it's a $5 million hole. But $3 million of that debt is to two big clients of mine, one who acted as an investor, and I used the money to fund my lifestyle. I would not be happy if I was this investor. So here was the tower that he was in. He was up in this penthouse up here, actually. There's videos of it online. You can check it out. Sneak peek of the success. The Beverly Hills watch dealer rented this $100,000 a month penthouse in South Hill in Los Angeles. So it goes on to say, Farah built his business selling luxury timepieces such as diamond-encrusted Rolexes and Patek Philippe's on consignment and scooping a commission. In just a few years, he built up a loyal customer base and social media following, largely thanks to his online videos, which showed a behind-the-scenes look at the horology world as well as his lavish lifestyle. And this is what I said. This is what I've been saying all along. He had it. He had the elements to make this great. And all the money got to his head. The money, the lifestyle. And I knew the minute he moved out to LA, he was doomed. I knew it was going to go completely downhill from there, because a couple of months just before he moved out into LA, he was showing videos of him out in Vegas, putting like 100 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand down, spinning roulette. And I'm like, this guy's out of control. He's completely out of control. And I knew going to LA when he got out there that this was going to completely crumble. It was going to completely crumble, and it did. And he had all the elements to make himself great if he would have just kept his head clear and stuck to his vision and his goal. Because clearly he knows how to get a base on social media. He's very good at that, within his controversy or the material that he puts out. People want to follow him. But now it's turned into such a disaster show. People are want to follow him to see what's going to happen to this guy, where he could have created a good buzz about himself and done things the right way. And a lot of people might ask, like, why are you so passionate about this? Why are you so upset about it? Well, because, this puts a negative stain on the watch industry, on the gray market dealers. And there are people out there that have legitimate businesses. And what happens is you have these kind of crummy, crusty people that get in the middle of doing this stuff and find that way into, in this case, and self-admitted Anthony, scamming people out of money. And that's not right. There's been a lot of people that have been affected and hurt by this. There's been a lot of people that, might have that, put that $20,000, $30,000 out there. They could use that money right now, and this is not like, these are not $5 Casios we're talking about. This is watches that go from, 30, 40, 50,000, $1 million, plus watches. So this is big time, fraud. It's big time fraud. And I just don't like the fact that, he went on his videos and went out there and put like, well, if you come after me, then you're never going to get your money back. I don't like people that leverage people. That's a shitty way about doing things. I've been leveraged many times in my life. I don't like that. And I know all of you don't like that. Leveraging people is not the way to get ahead. That's a schemy, disgusting tactic that criminals use. So let's move on here. I'm going to let me go back down one. Okay, so one video post online shows Farrah enjoying dinner at an upmarket Dallas steakhouse. Another shows him flexing a Rolex on his watch in front of a row of supercars. I mean, I know people personally that had another person that came into this business that was affected the same way. Not to the grand scale of what we're seeing here, but up into the mid-tier or high-tier hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they were personally affected by this. And now they're chasing their money. Yes, they're getting paid back a little here and there, but I know people that are out, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. These people are not taken lightly in this business. The watch trading and watch collecting business is a big deal. And you have a lot of power players that are in that, a lot of people that have a lot of disposable income. Some of the nicest people that I've ever met. Very down-to-earth people. And there are some really crummy people in it. The 1%ers. But 99.99% of them are really great people. And it's just shitty. You have people that come along, they find the element, they want to do the element of surprise, they put on a facade, they con you to give them your money, and then they're using your money to fund their lifestyle. It says at one point, Farrah leased one of the most expensive penthouses in Los Angeles, 825 South Hill Street, $100,000 a month, an 11-room apartment. His Facebook page indicated that he dealt with watches worn by the likes of Kevin Hart and Mark Wahlberg. Farrah's success increased during COVID-19 when watch prices began to soar. But when they eventually cooled and he allegedly left around $3 million of his stock, which was depreciating every day, according to the LA Times. He told the outlet, almost overnight, prices dropped 20%. I was still living lavishly, still going out and buying cars. But he added, no one ever brought me a watch, and I immediately sold it and then pocketed the cash for personal use. However, several clients who had given Farrah their watches on consignment noted that they were not listed on his website, nor had they been notified of the sale. Among them, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to switch over to the LA Times article because it looks like it's just quoting some of that stuff from there. But I think it's going to get a little bit more deeper. This is some of the information that's on the LA Times article, but we'll switch over there and I'll just read through this so we get kind of the full scope. Deal with me. We got a lot of reading to do. We got a lot of reading to do. Excuse me. So from the LA Times about 3 days ago, they trusted the Beverly Hills watch dealer. And then their luxury timepiece vanished. What a great photo, by the way. Really good photo. Okay, so Anthony Farrah was running out of time. He had built his luxury watch empire on a simple consignment model. Customers would bring his company, the Timepiece Gentleman, their watches. Farrah would sell them online or from his Beverly Hills showroom, take a commission and give his clients the rest, which might total in the tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars. The watches were flashy, diamond-studded Patek Philippe's, Artemis Piguet pieces, best kept in a safe. And so was Farrah, a Mercedes-driving semi-celebrity who rose in half a decade from a nobody with a criminal history to the top of the watch dealing game by plastering himself and his exorbitantly upscale lifestyle all over social media. But now his clients were getting restless. Several had notified their watches had mysteriously disappeared from his company website, yet they had no notification of the sale, they told the Times. They had questions, and when Farrah didn't answer them, they went online. Quickly, the same online community of watch aficionados that brought Farrah prominence turned against him, trading rumors about alleged misleads in a furious vortex of internet. I don't know how that works. I'm not even going to attempt it. Farah responded, the only way that he knew how, by posting a video online. The stuff I did was wrong, spending people's money, living above my means. I've been digging myself this hole, and it's a $5 million hole. And he said in the August 2nd video, about $3 million of that debt is to two big clients of mine, one who acted as an investor, and I used his money to fund my lifestyle. So I mean, self-admitted fraudster, self-admitted. Sitting in a tank top in his spare kitchen in front of dishes in the sink and an empty paper towel roll on the counter, Farrell monologued for nearly 15 minutes. This is a rock bottom for me, feeling like this is the worse than sitting in a prison cell, which is where I may end up. I don't know. And that's that's the pity game. And if you haven't seen this video, it's here on my channel. You can go over and watch that video if you're just coming into this case. I have it on archive actually on my page. And what I'll do is I'll post the link in the chat right now for you. Let's see. I'll drop that. If you want to check it out later, it'll be posted right there if you haven't seen the video. Just bear with me. If it's your first time over here, I have a mild form of dyslexia and I stutter. So this should be a good read. Farah's story is cautionary tale full of contradictions, a godly lifestyle that believed, excuse me, growing money problems, a fail that unfolded in front of millions on TikTok, YouTube, and Reddit, where two separate forums are dedicated to Farah's company alleged improperities, while receiving no mention of the mainstream media, an alleged culprit who bounced between apology and denial. 7 people told the Times they had given Farah watches ranging in worth from $10,000 to well over $100,000 on consignment, only for them to disappear, often without a trace. One of the 7 has a pending lawsuit against Farah over the issue. An 8th person who also sued did not speak with the Times. Farah was not arrested or charged. Emails revealed that the Times showed the FBI and Beverly Hills Police Department are investigating the case. Farah agreed to be interviewed by the Times and spoke broadly about his work background and money problems, though he sometimes declined to comment on specific allegations. Quote, I owe people money, he said, but no one ever brought me a watch, and I immediately sold it and then pocketed that cash for personal use. Farah, 35, so they're saying he's 35, says he grew up in Sherman, Texas, in an adopted family along with his twin brother and his biological sister. He said he lived in a sheltered young life, not allowing to party or have sleepovers. He moved to Dallas at 18, searching for independence. Excuse me. As Farah tells it, he bounced between jobs, but was always aspiring to afford a better life. At the time, he fell into drugs and alcohol and spent his 20s drinking, getting into fights at bars, and racking up DUIs. He served prison time in 2008 for running from cops on a motorcycle, and again in 2016 for a DUI, he said. In prison in 2016, he missed his mother's death and the birth of his son. When he got out, he decided it was time to shape up and get sober. He owned a Breitling Chronomat watch and sold it when he came out of prison, bringing about $500 in profit, he said. It was the first watch he ever sold. Soon, he was hooked. He quit his job as a waiter, and slowly money began to pour in. He founded the Timepiece Gentleman in Dallas with his partner in 2018, and the duo gained a subsequent following on social media, as well as some legitimacy in the watch world. Quote, people trusted him in this space because he had social media following, said John Buckley, a luxury watch dealer who runs a business called Tuscany Rose. Excuse me. Buckley said that Farah had a talent for presenting an overhyped narrative of his own success. Farah was a speculative and he sold himself that way. In the video, he showed himself spending more than $17,000 at Salt Bay's restaurant to celebrate his birthday. He didn't enjoy the meal. He said that place sucked. He said in an interview, but the video got millions of views, so Farah saw it as a success. He said once the two types of people were interested in his content, haters, it's always the haters. It's always the haters and followers. Yep, it's always the haters with him. One video can give both sides of the playing field enjoyment, he said. By early 2022, Farah appeared to be cultivating a life at the very apex of American wealth. He moved to Los Angeles, where he saw people who were even wealthier than watch lovers in Dallas. His customer in LA would spend $100,000 without blinking, he said. Farah's spending increased too. He leased a downtown LA penthouse in March 2022, a rental that was called the most expensive penthouse in the city at 825 South Hill Street for $100,000 per month. Excuse me. According to his former realtor, Farah hoped to relocate his business to a 6-bedroom, 11-bathroom space, which featured commanding views of the Los Angeles sky, rock climbing wall, and 3 bars. Farah planned to live there with 2 of his employees. He started chronicling his glamorous lifestyle in 2022 with his own videos series called South Hill. He posted a sleekly edited episode on YouTube, other platforms where he found an eager audience and engaged with his content and became potential future customers. I mean, he was gaining traction like a year and a half before this. I mean, they were on a really good run. And then when his business in Dallas broke up and he went out to LA and he left his business partner, that's when he started this South Hill, the revamping. He's done this quite a few times in his social media career. He also used social media to address scandals and problems as they came up. And that's the one thing that he probably shouldn't have done. He should have kept that, away. And he always had to go into this thing of like addressing the haters, and believe me, they poured on. In March of 2022, he addressed directly on his show rumors that he had a profile as an erotic masseur on a website that catered to gay men. It was fodder for Farah's critics, who used it to mock him online. The revelation prompted his business partner in Dallas and another investor to sever ties with him, Farah said. Quote, as a 2-time ex-felon currently on parole, it's very hard. It's hard to get a job. Farah said on his YouTube show, I did what I had to do to get what I wanted. I didn't regret a day in a life. That's the quote. That's the quote. That's the quote. I did what I had to do to get what I wanted. I don't regret a day of my life. Mark that quote. And that's how this guy has lived his life. Every day, I'll do what I have to do to get what I want. It doesn't mean if I have any victims, it doesn't mean I will do what I want to get what I want. He has not learned. He will never learn. He will always be this type of person. Remember, a leopard never changes its spots. You may paint stripes on that leopard, but it's always going to be a leopard. Farah did not care what people thought of his post, he said. The money was what mattered, but there were problems too. Like other collectibles, the luxury watch market soared during COVID-19 pandemic. Wealthy buyers felt shut in and had money to spare, said Ariel Adams, a journalist who runs a blog to watch. A Rolex Submariner on the resale market that sold for an average of about $13,000 in the fall of 2018 could fetch nearly double that by March of 2022, according to Watch Cards. As prices rose, some started to view watches as a quasi-investment, despite the risk of volatility, Adams said. The watch market peaked in 2022 and has been trending downward since, though average resale prices still hover higher than they were in early 2021, according to watchcards.com. Farah's business was thriving as the market reached its peak, but he was caught holding the bag when it cooled back down. He said the inventory of the watches said possessed. He claimed 3 million in value were depreciating every day. He said nobody wanted to buy. Quote, almost every overnight prices dropped 20%, Farah said, but he did not adjust his spending accordingly. I was still living lavishly, still going out and buying cars. Just 3 months after he leased the penthouse, Farah moved out. His realtor said he spent $500,000 on deposits and rent, plus another $600,000 on furniture, landscaping, security systems. Farah said, "This freaking guy." Working with a consignment dealer requires patience. Items don't always sell immediately. Sometimes they don't sell at all. But by the summer of 2023, some clients were growing concerned when they noticed the listings of their watches no longer appeared on the Timepiece Gentleman website without any notice about a sale. According to 4 consignment agreements reviewed by the Times, clients agreed to get their watches to the company for a minimum of 30 days. If a sale went through, Farah was to take 5% and deliver the rest of the money to the consignee within 1 business day of receiving payment from the buyer. And you can see the consignment agreements here. I'm not going to read them because this moron editor that ever put this out there left the serial numbers on the he didn't black out the serial numbers, and that's actually very important. But you can see a consignment agreement here. If you have spend the buck, if you want to go back and look at the documents itself, you can do that. You know what I actually might do is I'll cut these and post them on my community page if you want to check them out. And I'm going to black out the serial numbers because that's really important. But I mean, it is public knowledge now. I don't know why. Maybe because this watch is now stolen or allegedly stolen. So maybe that's why they want the serial number out there. I could see that as well too. One client, Arton Massey, I'm sorry if I didn't get your name correct, filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles Superior Court claiming that Farah stole his AP Royal Oak offshore 44 millimeter worth at least $40,000. He had given the watch to Farah on July 5th under a consignment agreement reviewed by the Times. Weeks later, according to the lawsuit, Farah admitted to Massey on the phone that he sold the watch and kept the entire funds for his own personal purposes. Farah promised to pay him back in weekly $3,400 installments. After the first payment, no more money came in, according to the suit. Excuse me. I told him I don't have any more money, Farah told the Times. I stayed in contact with him and I said, I'll look, and I'm doing my best and I'm working. Bob Schrober, a retired 50-year-old who likes fancy watches, was having trouble with Farah too after coming across the Timepiece Gentleman TikTok account in February. And this is kind of funny too, because, and I'm going to talk about this, you know, he knew that across Instagram, YouTube, and he was getting nailed on Reddit. So he needed a new platform to go to. And this is what I looked at, like that criminal element. Everybody knows me on these platforms, but they don't know me on TikTok yet. So what did he do? He started to get on TikTok and started putting all this crap out on TikTok for people to get interested in him too. That's how he drew in some of the people that were on JJ's panel. I think that's how Wesley said he came across Anthony, was through TikTok, and they didn't know who he was. They didn't know what he was wrapped up in. And they just saw this guy on TikTok dealing in these watches, you know, and Wesley told his story about it. He didn't really know anything, Anthony, and they started this somewhat partnership together, you know, and business partnership. And this is how Wesley got caught up in this. So after coming across the Timepiece Gentleman TikTok account in February, he said he brought a Rolex Sky Dweller and a Patek Philippe from Farah, and everything went smoothly. He was selling real watches. He was selling to famous sports stars, Schrober said. Anytime I bought a watch from him, I'd bring it to a local dealer and they say, is it legit? And they were never knockoffs. Schrober trusted Farah enough that he let him stay in a guest room at his house in Arizona in May. And this is Bob. This is Bob that was on JJ's panel. I like the guy, he said. In July, he gave Farah 2 watches to sell. Schrober said that he did not sign a consignment agreement because they were friends. Soon after, Schrober heard from a friend that Farah owed a lot of people money. a photo of Bob Schrober's Rolex that he sent Anthony Farrer. He says that he never got the watch back, nor did he receive money from the sale. And you can see that here. Here's the serial number. They're probably putting that out there because this is now possibly allegedly stolen. So I'm sure there's probably a police report. I'm just going to drink here. Great article, by the way. Give you a lot of background here. Schrober checked the Timepiece Gentleman website and realized the watches had given Farrer were no longer listed for sale, yet Schrober had not received payment nor been informed of the sale. I need to do something really quick. I need to turn my AC on because it's probably about 100 degrees in here, and I'm literally dying right now, and my nose is running like crazy because it's so hot in here. So give me like 2 hot seconds. I'm going to pause, grab a quick drink or whatever. I'm going to just turn my AC on. Hang on 1 second. Who would have thought you'd be turning your AC on in October? Holy smokes. It's like 85 degrees in this room. What happens is the sun is on my bedroom side of the house, so it's just beating in this house right now. It's very hot in here, but hopefully it'll cool off here in a minute. I never thought that I would be turning the AC on in October. Okay, so let's read on here. When the two got on a phone to discuss, Schrober recorded the conversation and posted videos to his TikTok. In the recording, Farrer said that he has a debt of $5 million and that he would rob Peter to pay Paul. The video caught fire amongst Farrer's online fans and foes. As the clips racked up millions of views, Schrober said dozens of people messaged him saying Farrer had taken their watches and never paid him. TikTok watch enthusiasts traded stories about Farrer in the comments. Others took to their YouTube channels. 2 separate subreddits, one with more than 500 members and another with about 5,000 focused on Farrer. Stories, rumors, and memes swirled about the Timepiece Gentleman. It blows my mind that people spend that much time focusing on someone like me versus going and doing anything like a hobby or job or learning a skill, Farrer says in an interview. The bottom line is this guy loves this shit. That's what he likes. He wants people talking about him. He doesn't want to be out of the forefront. He always wants to be there. Always wants to be there in the forefront. So he's loving this that people are talking about him. On July 27th, Farrer shipped a different watch to Schrober, a Rolex Sea Dweller, to try to start paying back what he owed. Worked with me at least on getting you paid back, Farrer said in a text reviewed by the Times. But Schrober was concerned that the Sea Dweller belonged to someone else, he said. When he received the watch, he immediately posted it to his TikTok. If you lost a Sea Dweller and you can prove it to me and you have a serial number and all the history of your text with Farrer, then I'm happy to send this watch back to you, he said in an August 3rd video. And that's probably the video here. Frank Lucent, he said, had been dealing with similar issues. He consigned his Rolex Sea Dweller to the Timepiece Gentleman on July 12th, according to the consignment agreement. Employees at the Timepiece Gentleman told him that it would be a quick sale, Lucent said. So he became worried when his watch disappeared from the website without notice. Farrer stopped responding and increasingly frantic texts about his watch, according to messages reviewed by the Times. He said that things popped up on the internet about Farrer owing millions of dollars to clients, then stumbled across TikTok video from Schrober, offering to return the Sea Dweller to its rightful owner. The two messaged, and he shared the watch unique serial number. Farrer had sent his watch to Schrober, and the two agreed. Schrober overnighted mailed the watch back to him in San Diego. Wow. He's actually taking other pieces giving those pieces out to try to pay back some of the money or the collateral that he had taken from that customer. So it's essentially, I mean, that's, it's essentially a Ponzi scheme. You're just passing money along as you're getting money or merchandise along to try to pay off the next person. It's incredible. I'm probably the only one that has or will get anything back out of this guy. Farah denied selling people's watches consignment and keeping the profits for personal use. He declined to comment on Schrober specifics allegations. When asked if he ever used proceeds of selling one's watch, personal property, to pay back others, Farah said yes. He self-admitted. He self-admitted in this. He also said that doing so temporarily prevented him from being able to compensate the person whose watch he had sold. Farah closed up shop in Beverly Hills in late August, according to someone who works in the building. On August 2nd, he posted a 14-minute video on his YouTube acknowledging his debts. He also noted, and maybe I'll play that video at the end, he also noted that a text he had sent to people whom he owed money included lies about watches being stolen. It's gotten to where the living this fake lifestyle, living this look at me, I'm smart and successful, keeping up the appearances is eating me alive, he said in the video. It was all keeping up this facade. I'll admit it. I got a little taste of success and I never wanted to forget that feeling. Later, and that's, that's addiction. Later that month, he deactivated his social media accounts. People who had given him watches and not gotten anything back reached out to the police and the FBI. Wow. This guy deserves to be prosecuted to the highest level to the trauma he has caused numerous victims, Beverly Department Alex Kale wrote in an email on September 5th to Chad Pueblo, a watch aficionado who helped connect authorities to alleged victims. Kale said, and I've had privilege to some of this information behind the scenes. I've gotten emails about this. I just wasn't able to publish it. But I did get it through a trusted source. I have seen the email communication, or at least one back and forth with this detective through my sources. Kale said that the FBI had taken over the case according to the email. For those stuck in limbo, what they're missing can be just as collectible. Liron Levi, 33, a locksmith who moved with his wife to Los Angeles from Israel last year, had invested their life savings in a Rolex and a Richard Mille worth about $350,000 in total. He decided to sell them in July so that he and his pregnant wife could make a down payment on a home. He went to 4 watch stores in LA, including Farah's, he said. And these are the watches here. Anthony was the only guy that really showed me confidence. He is a really good salesperson, Levi said. Levi signed a consignment agreement and gave the watches to Farah, said. He never saw them again, aside from a listing on a New York watch store website for the Rolex, same serial number and all. Farah acknowledged to Levi that he had no longer had the watches in his possession. Holy crap, man. I will get your watches back. I need a day. I'm going through a huge financial disaster, but I will get your watches back, Farah said to him in a text to Levi reviewed by the Times. Months later, Levi is still missing his investment. His wife miscarried, and he spoke with the police and the FBI. He said he struggled to afford a lawyer to afford a lawyer to sue Farah. I've lost all my savings, he said. Farah declined to comment on Levi's watches. And this is what I talked about. Is that when you take money from people, it spirals people out of control. Their life gets spiraled out of control. And a lot of people might look at this and say, well, you shouldn't buy things if you can't afford them, or you shouldn't this and shouldn't that. It's not about that. It's about the fact that this guy took money. This guy took people's watches as collateral. He used it for his own personal gain. And he's self-admitted that he's this $5 million in debt of people's money, of real hardworking people's money. And that needs to be paid back in some way. Others have stayed connected with Farah, even though he has gone mostly dark. Let's see. Mark said that he consigned his Rolex Samara with an 18-karat gold and diamond hour markers to Farah in May. Mark, a 28-year-old, I'm not going to try to pronounce it, Cardidio. I don't know. I'm going to pronounce I can't pronounce people's last names. 28-year-old from Chicago believed that the watch would be worth around 30,000 in good condition, though. He first gave it to Farrah's company to fix it up before selling it. When the news that Farrah's scandal began to break online, he texted Farrah to see if his watches were still with the Timepiece gentleman. Do you have it in your inventory? He asked on August 2nd, the text reviewed by the Times. Unfortunately, I don't, man, Farrah responded. I meant when I said of my YouTube, when I said on my YouTube, maybe it's supposed to say, about realizing I effed up and I'm going to run from it. And I'm not going to run from it. And while it may take me a little time, I'm going to make everybody whole. My heart sank. That's pretty large chunk of change. He said he stayed connected with Farrah and tried to avoid being confrontational so that he could maintain a connection. Farrah let him know on August 20th he was leaving the watch industry and focusing on something else, heavy machinery. You know, the thing is, I don't know. Like, if I knew that I was deceived and I was taken, I'd be calling the authorities immediately. So I don't know why everybody like got very afraid. Like, oh, if I confront him, the guy's just going to run. Whatever. Just get a report out there. At this point, you're probably not going to get any of your shit back anyway. So why not just go to the authorities, make a report right away? The opportunity looks very promising, but it's not going to take a lot of work of my part. But I'm ready for it. The other reason is that for this text is to mention that while I have very intention of paying all my debts back right now, I needed to focus on getting some money coming in, and I think I'm going to take at least a month to start seeing that happen, Farrah wrote in a text. Farrah said that he continues to sell watches on the side, and he's also working with a social media consultant. While speaking with the Times, Farrah even got a compliment from a stranger on a red and blue Rolex he was wearing. Those in the know call it a Pepsi GMT. The watch belonged to a friend, he said. I'm taking it to sell to someone tomorrow, Farrah added. Farrah texted Mark on September 20th, offering social media consulting and marketing help as a way to start paying back the money he owed. What? He also was upset that one of the debtors was sharing screenshot of his messages. Not sure why anyone I owe money wants to continue to jeopardize my ability to pay you back. And that's the fucking leverage. That's the leveraging that I fucking talked about. I hate when people do this to people. That is a pure criminal right there. A pure alleged criminal right there. When people do this shit, that is leveraging, and it's a sick move by these fucking people. I confirm they'll be moved back to the bottom of the list. So he's gonna penalize you now because you're sharing shit because you're not getting their money back. You've taken their money. They're putting it out there publicly saying that you're a scam artist. They want someone to look into you. They want their money back. They want their inventory back. And you're going to put someone now move to the bottom. You're going to move people to the bottom of the list because they're calling you out. And that's it. That's the LA Times article. So if you haven't seen the fallout or the meltdown video, I'll play that right now before I head off air. And I'm sorry, I can't read the comments as I'm reading an article. So let me pull this really quick up. So Real Talk World, RWT says, I reached out to Anthony the day after he posted the video, admitting he's a fraud. I told him he needed to shut down social media, delete all his videos, and concentrate on paying back his victims. Do you really think he's going to do that? Casper says, I knew things were starting to go wrong when I saw him starting to drink in his videos. He has a very addictive personality and he can't get out of his own way. All right, let's do this for the people that haven't seen the meltdown video. I have it archived. I'm going to play that right now. We'll give this a good 14, 15 minutes, and then we're going to head out. But I wanted to bring some light to the LA Times article. So that's where we are in this investigation right now. All right, let's play this.
All right, everybody. I think it's time I finally put out a video and address everything that's going on. These last few days have been an a large amount of, just stuff coming out. And I can't hide from it any longer. I can't just avoid it. I have to, talk about it. I wanted to give it some time to kind of sink in and just see what was going to happen. But, the first thing I have to say is that this message is meant for my clients that are directly involved. It's for the dealers that are involved. It's for, my friends that are going to be affected, my former employees, people in the watch industry that are going to be directly affected by my actions. I know my words don't mean anything right now, but I really am genuinely sorry.
It's like gaslighting, super gaslighting.
Just to talk about the first thing that popped up, which is that text message that I sent out to a few clients. That is a real text message. That is something that I sent. And I sent that, because life just hasn't been fun lately.
Now we should feel bad,
like
right?
the message said, I've battled with demons and I've let stuff get the best of me, and I've made a lot of bad decisions. I made a lot of dumb mistakes. I even lied in that message about a robbery, hoping to cover it up even more while I try to fix it. And, it's gotten to where just living this fake lifestyle, this look at me, I'm smart, I'm successful, keeping up the appearances, it's eating me alive. I drink every night just to be able to go to sleep.
So this is the part where you should feel bad for him. Should feel bad for him, right? Should feel bad for him.
I've lied to my employees. I've lied to my clients. I've lied to my friends. I've lied to my peers.
Crocodile tears.
And it was all keeping up this facade. It was not being willing to admit that I'd made mistakes very early on. I'll admit it. I got a little taste of success.
You are fake news.
Never wanted to forget that feeling. So when I did make dumb decisions, I would write them off, or if I addressed something I did that didn't work, then to me that was admitting failure. And my ego was too big.
Come on, man.
My personality didn't want that to happen. I didn't want people thinking I was a failure. I didn't want people.
Yeah, this is called deflection. This is deflection. Deflection.
Thinking I was a fraud, a fake. I got accustomed to this lifestyle, and getting that type of attention, it ruined me. I built a hell of a business when I was sober. I made some little mistakes when I was in Dallas, and part of my past came back to haunt me. So, not to say that that's the cause of it. The stuff I did was wrong.
You are fake news.
People's money, living above my means, living this flex lifestyle, all that stuff was wrong. But, dealing with the kind of backlash that I've gotten, I'm not blaming it on that, but it is hard. It is a stressor, and I deal with it, and I do my best to keep it suppressed and pretend like it doesn't bother me, but it does. I've gone on my little tyrants where I respond to haters on social media, and
always about the haters. It's always about the haters.
And I'm getting carried off. I'm getting carried away, but that message was real. The voice recording was real. That was me talking to a client.
That was when he was talking to Bob.
Obviously I was unaware that he was recording, but that phone call came because I needed someone to talk to. I've been digging myself this hole, and it's a $5 million hole. Yes, it's true. I'm $5 million in debt.
Self-admitted.
About $3 million of that debt is to two big clients of mine. One who acted as an investor.
Self-admitted.
And I used his money to fund my lifestyle. The other who, I'll just leave it at that. I owe two big people $3 million. I owe a lot of small people a collective $2 million for watches that I've sold. And, you know, I can't take that back. I can't lie about it. But me reaching out to the client to talk about it was because I didn't know who I can trust. I didn't know who I could vent to or talk about it to, but I knew that I just didn't want to hold it in anymore. Like I'm tired of living this lie. I'm tired of the person that I was becoming. You know, I wasn't happy. I haven't been happy for a long time, but I've been putting on this facade like everything's great and everything's perfect. And look at me, I drive a Lambo and my life's amazing. And it's all a lie. It's all fake. Like I fucking
You
hate
are
it.
fake news.
You know, like it's that's what it's gotten to. And, you know, could I have kept this lie up for a little while longer? Probably. And I'm not proud of that. And I never meant to hurt anybody. And, you know, my mistakes are what dug this hole deeper and deeper and deeper to the point where if I don't stop it, I'm not going to get out. It's going to get so big that it's irreparable. Admitting those kind of things, like it was the hardest thing. It was the most embarrassing thing. Like I said, it's hard for someone like me to admit failure, to admit defeat, to admit that I'm an alcoholic, or I have a drug problem, or I have a gambling problem, or I have a spending problem, or I've wasted money on
Good point, Mary. It's probably why it was deleted off his page.
Cocaine and hookers and nights out in Vegas and just dumb shit, living this fake lifestyle to impress people that don't really care. You know, that's who I've become.
Well, you know, every time his ears wiggle, that's when he lies.
And I hate it. I drink myself to sleep every night to be able to, you know, just to get rid of the stress for a little bit. And this last week and a half since this stuff started coming out is where it's my breaking point. This is a rock bottom for me.
It's rock bottom.
Feeling like this is worse than sitting in a prison cell, which is where, you know, I may end up. I don't know. You know,
familiar territory.
I was hoping that by talking to a couple of people about this and sending a message out to clients, you know, I understand I've hurt a lot of people and I've screwed a lot of people. But my idea wasn't to, you know, get away from it. It was to accept it and own what I've done and start trying, like, you start the process to try to fix it. I can't change what I've done, but I also don't want to hide from it. I don't want to lie about it anymore. I don't want to pretend, you know, to be something I'm not. I just want I want a chance at a real life, and I haven't had a real life in a few years.
Again, it's you should feel bad for me. It's always about him. Always about him. You know, I'm not in discussion of my life. I want a chance at a real life. I want to do the right thing. I flex lifestyle. I
don't know what's going to come of this. You know, the one
that's called criminal acts, alleged criminal acts, Candy. That's what that is. I mean, self-admitted some of these alleged criminal acts.
Thing I'll say is that this is 100% on me. You know, everything, the lies, the deception, the money, you know, it's all on me. My employees, you know, I've watched a lot of the backlash that they're getting, the threatening phone calls, the death threats, the stuff. And it's just, that's not fair to them, man. It's, you know, one of the biggest reasons I wanted to make this video is to say that this is my problem. This is my mess. It's something I'm going to have to dig out of. You know, my team leaving as this started to come out was the smartest decision they could have made, which was to separate themselves from the chaos that I have created.
That's a good one, Candy.
The potential aftermath this is going to have.
L&D.
And give them a chance, like a fighting chance to go do their own thing. And, you know, if I could ask anything, if you guys want to hate me, I completely understand that. I deserve it.
That's gaslighting.
If you want to bash me, I deserve it. And
gaslighting.
You know, there's nothing I can do about that. But my team had no idea about this. I control the money. I control the books. They were just doing their jobs. They were doing what I told them.
It's like very passive aggressive as well too.
To do. So let them separate from the TPG organization. Let them, you know, give them a fair shot at doing what I didn't do. and creating a real business and creating a real life, and leave everything that's involved with this to me, because I'm the one that did it.
The haters.
I take 100% responsibility for everything that's going on right now. And I don't want you guys to attack them and take away their shot at a life because of the stupid shit that I've done.
You know what I feel like I'm watching? I feel like I'm watching MTV True Life when they used to go inside the confessional booths. Was that like the early 2000s, like late 90s into the early 2000s? MTV True Life. Go into the confessional booth. Tell them how you feel.
You know, like I said, I can't take back what I've done. You know, I can only accept it. Apologize to you guys.
True Life. Such a great
story. I don't expect any forgiveness, but like I said in my initial message, I'm not hiding from this. I'm not turning my social media off. I'm not going to file bankruptcy.
Listen, he's not turning his social media off. Guess what he's done? He's turned his social media off. He's deleted all his videos, but he ain't going anywhere.
I'm not going to leave the country. I'm not going to do any of those things. The whole point was to own it and start figuring out a way to try to fix it. Now, again, I didn't anticipate it getting this big, and I didn't anticipate it blowing up this fast. And maybe that's part of my problem, is I don't anticipate stuff. I don't anticipate the worst. I just hope for the best on everything. And that's still true to today. I don't know what the worst has to come. I don't know what.
Well, this is it, buddy.
Tomorrow holds. I know it's going to be a shit show for a while, and it's just getting started. And I've got a lot on my plate that I'm going to have to deal with, but I'm prepared to deal with what I've caused. I'm fully aware of what I've done, how many people I've hurt, and how bad this can get, and I accept it. And you know, I may not be able to work for a while. I may not be able to do any business anywhere. I don't know, but I know that somehow, some way, I will fix this, and I will right everybody that I've wronged. I don't know how long that's going to take. But I'm not going to hide from it. You know, I'm going to do my best to fix it. Hopefully I can get a job. I don't know. I honestly don't have an answer, but you know, I'm not going to screw anybody in the end, and I'm not going to put blame on anybody but myself. I let my demons and everything get the best of me. I lied to people. I abused. I abused
That's
people's
narcissism.
Trust. I took advantage of people.
That's narcissism.
With my reputation, and I manipulated people, and I screwed a lot of people over, and that's something I'm going to have to live with for the rest of my life and a long time. But you know, the only thing I can do is say I'm sorry to everybody involved. I'm sorry to everybody that's indirectly involved and that's going to feel something from this. You know, that's really all I've got. You know, I fucked up. Regardless of how this looks and what's being said and the dumb shit I've done, I don't think I'm a bad person. I think I did some very bad things, and you know, part of my mind justifies doing one bad thing to make right for another person, but that doesn't justify me doing the bad thing. But at the end of the day, I still don't think I'm a bad person. I think I made some really, really bad decisions, and I screwed some people over, and I've got a lot of work to do on myself, but the only thing I can do is just take it from here on out, take it a day at a time, realize where I'm at, and just, you know, this is one of the worst feelings I've ever felt in my life. I'm not going to drink today. I'm not going to use any drugs today. And
just not today. Tomorrow, though.
And tomorrow I'm going to wake up with the attitude and I'm going to take it as it comes and just take it a day at a time. And, you know, and I know that this means nothing to anybody and right now, and it's just words. And, you know, maybe this is just, people are going to say that this is a video for sympathy and whatever, you know, I get it, but I sent those messages.
He travels back and forth to LA and Texas, so he has been seen.
With a purpose, to try and start digging myself out of a hole that was coming. It was only a matter of time before that got out. I just couldn't live with myself and who I was becoming anymore. So this is my rock bottom. So, you know, You guys can accept it or not. It is what it is.
Oh, it's so passive aggressive.
I'm in a hole. I'm going to do my best to fix it. If someone gives me opportunity to, I'm going to take that opportunity. If nobody gives me the opportunity, then I'm just going to take life as it is and accept whatever my fate is. But to all those of you that really are truly involved, that I haven't already spoken with, you have my word that as long as I'm around, I will do my best to get you made whole.
Right.
And that's all I've got right now.
Right. Real quick before we head out, have you seen my parody video? Let's watch the parody video really quick.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to not only wear a $60,000 watch for free, but to make some side cash doing so? I have some information that's potentially going to change your career path forever.
You know, I've been digging myself this hole, and it's a $5 million hole. Yes, it's true. I'm $5 million in debt.
Back during the pandemic, we saw the watch industry take off, and now's a better time than ever for new dealers like yourself to get started. If you've ever been intrigued about the thought of becoming a full-time watch dealer and wasn't really sure where to start, or maybe you just want to flip a watch or two here and there so that you can ultimately wear watches for free. I mean, hey, that is how I started.
You know, it's gotten to where just living this fake lifestyle, this look at me, I'm smart, I'm successful, you know, keeping up the appearances.
Or maybe you don't want to be a dealer. Maybe your idea is to become a better collector and understand the watch market from a dealer's point of view. Well, stick around because I've got some valuable information.
I've lied to my employees. I've lied to my clients. I've lied to my friends. I've lied to my peers.
Let's put it like this. If I had a time machine and I could go back to the day I started with all the information I can share with you today, I could have saved myself millions of dollars, countless sleepless nights, and a lot of mistakes that I made.
You know, I've let stuff get the best of me, and I've made a lot of bad decisions. I made a lot of dumb mistakes.
To be honest, I'd probably be in the exact same position I am today, just 3 years sooner. For those of you that haven't been following my content, my name is Anthony Fair, and I'm the owner and founder of the Timepiece Gentleman brand. I sold some of the most exquisite timepieces to some of the biggest names that you guys know. I'm going on my 6th year in this business, and we're on pace to do about 40 million in sales this year.
And it's a $5 million hole. Yes, it's true. I'm $5 million in debt.
I can tell you this, we're just getting started. Now, I'll be the first to admit, in my 6 years in this business, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've learned a lot of lessons. I've seen dealers come and go, pulling stuff like cash grabs, shady moves, to just downright scams.
Stuff I did was wrong. Spending people's money, you know, living above my means, living this flex lifestyle, all that stuff was wrong.
Do you want to know the biggest scam I see in this industry that literally no one is talking about? It's the education in this space. The education here is a joke. And trust me, I've been a part of these programs and seen them firsthand. All they do is string you along, feeding you upsells and, you know, new phases to their course and asking you to join their mastermind while never really telling you how real dealers make money.
I want to pretend, you know, to be something I'm not.
Feeding you a bunch of lies, and they're charging you an arm and a leg to do so. Remember how I told you I had something that was potentially going to change your career path forever?
I lied to people.
The past 6 years of my mistakes, my wins, my setbacks, the lessons I've learned, everything I know about the watch industry is going to be packaged into one course and only one.
And this is 100% on me. You know, everything, the lies, the deception.
See, in this course, you're going to get everything you need to know to go from a beginning dealer to an expert like myself. Whether you're a seasoned collector wanting to become a better collector, whether you've already started in the business and are flipping a watch here and there, or you have zero knowledge at all, this is the place to start.
I got a little taste of success and never wanted to forget that feeling.
And I can personally guarantee there's nothing like this out on the market. You want to know how I can guarantee that? Because I've been a part of these other programs. I know the dealers involved with them, and I can promise you that doesn't even come close. And the proof is in the pudding.
$5 million in debt.
With this program, you're basically purchasing the last 6 years of my brain. Every lesson I've learned, both the easy and the hard.
Again, I didn't anticipate it getting this big.
There is no second or third phase, no monthly mastermind, no continued education with this course. It's all bundled into one package.
This fake lifestyle.
My Watch Dealer University course is the course that's going to give regular guys like you a real shot at becoming a dealer and teach you the rights and wrongs in this industry that people don't talk about.
I think I made some really, really bad decisions and I screwed some people over.
As a dealer who's on track to do 40 million in sales this year, I'm promising you an unfiltered, no BS masterclass on everything you need to know to get started. Everything from how to build a retail connection, how to build a wholesale connection, where do dealers really source inventory, how to spot fakes.
2 big clients of mine, one who acted as an investor and I used his money to fund my lifestyle.
How to avoid scams, how to set up your business, and so much more, all in one product. If you've ever had any interest in the watch industry, this is your unfair advantage. If you want to skip the expensive mistakes and painful lessons that every dealer before has had to go through, I want you to click the link and let's get started. Whether you want to be a full-time dealer, maybe you want to flip 1 or 2 watches a month, or just become a better collector. Maybe you're starting with limited funds.
$5 million in debt.
Say a few $1,000s like I did. This program was built for you. I can promise you that someday in the very near future, just by saying you went through this training, it's going to give you an immense trust and access to an amazing network of dealers. I have a long-term vision for this program becoming the gold standard of education in the watch industry, and I want to see you guys inside. So click the link below and let's get started.
I sent those messages with a purpose, to try and start digging myself out of a hole that was coming.
Of course, you could have a little fun, a little parody there. I did a little editing there on the on one of his promotional videos, but it was a good time. So anyway, like I said, I wanted to pop in here, give you a little bit of TPG update. That is it. That's the LA Times article that was released. Like I said, I had some trusted sources that reached out to me and said, hey, keep your eyes out. There's going to be a update coming soon, and pretty big stuff. So it is now in the mainstream media, if you want to call that. It is now being reported on instead of the independent journalism journalists. And now it is it's getting out there. So things like this take time, though, and it is saying in the article the police and FBI are now involved. So not too sure where Anthony is at this point, but I'm sure that the FBI and police do know. But that's going to be it. That's going to be it for this afternoon's stream. I'm going to drop the link there for tonight's stream. I'll be back 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we have some Brian Koberger updates for you all. We'll get in that tonight at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you all make it. Double dip, double meal, combo meal deal, 2-for-1 deal today. And again, have a amazing afternoon, and I will see you back tonight at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. Someone that owes a lot of money, I probably wouldn't be flying all over the country. I'd probably start figuring out how I'm going to pay people back.
Well, that's why you're sitting there behind a YouTube channel and not $5 million in debt.
Here's another one, another famous one too.
1, I'm young enough. 2, I'm confident enough that I'm always going to make money in something. If I gave up, if I never sold another watch tomorrow, I can start selling paper cups, plastic cups, and I'll do good at it.
All right, see you tonight. Bye.